Ciao ragazzi, I'm back with the third race of the F1 Simracing Championship around Silverstone, and today this is the start of day 2 of event 2. So fresh day, fresh mind, coming off of two not very satisfactory days, to be honest. I mean, Barry was absolutely shattered after the first day, where he scored 0 points in both races, from what I remember. Myself finishing P8 in Jeddah and P6 in Austria. If you haven't seen those two videos, please make sure to go check them out, because there was a lot of stuff going on in those two races. So yeah, today feeling a little bit down from yesterday, but we're just confident that we can bounce back. As there, actually, I showed that I was going to go out on wets, but then I went back into the pits because the engineers told me that it was already inter. So when we loaded up for the Silverstone, we knew we could have expected rain, but not like this. It started off with wets, and but as we were doing our outlap and our first lap, the engineer just said that the track is improving way too much. Just go back into the box. There's no point, and we're gonna go out on the inters. I honestly didn't mind the inters. I really loved the wet this game. I was very, very fast in practice in wets, in inters conditions in general. So I was happy. I did not have any complaint with a little bit of an intermediate qualifying session, as we are now doing our first run as already almost on the limit of turn 1, downshifting to 6th and back up to 7th for the rotation. And I think I almost stayed flat out, so good turn 1 already. We didn't spend too much time preparing for the wet conditions, purely to the fact that we only had, well, I say only, we only had like a month to prepare 6 tracks, and when you have to do quali setups, race setups, hybrid setups, different setups depending on where you start on the grid, if you want a lower wing or a higher wing setup, it was so much to test. And it didn't leave us much time for the wet practice, so we only did a few days, 1 or 2 days of inter-testing. But we knew we were still fast. I mean, obviously we're not going to go into an event unprepared, so we felt fully confident that we could do our best here as we go around Maggots and Beckett's and Chapel. Very clean so far. I mean, it's just a banker. I'm not looking to set the timings on fire and pass Q1 with just 1 lap, as Will Lewis almost blocks us there. Actually, Will Lewis replacing Alvaro for today's qualifying and race. I think Alvaro was ill that day, so he couldn't take part. Yeah, I'm not too sure what happened there, but he got better very quickly, and I think he was back in the rig for the next quali. As we do 32.2, we are P1 for now, so very good lap. Actually, we don't go out again. I was confident in myself, and I was right. I did a very good lap on my first ever run, which everyone else had to do too, if I don't mistake myself, if I remember correctly. So I'm already at an advantage. Barry with P12 as well. So he passed Q1, no problems there. On to Q2 now. It's still wet, so again, I don't mind it at all. I mean, get me into the wet qualifying sessions. I really, really like them. I like them when it's like this, when it's actually inters or actually wets for the entirety of the session, not when we have that stupid one-shot quali changing conditions. We're 20 cars on the last corner all together trying to get the best track possible. It's just chaotic. It's just not fun. So yeah, I really like these type of sessions though. It makes me, there's just less pressure, I don't know, but I just feel so comfortable in the wets. So yeah, as we negotiate Brooklands and Laffield, alright, a little bit of a snap on the exit, a bit too eager on the throttle. Lifting here, down to 6th, short shift to 7th again for the rotation. Down to 54 brake bias. I don't know why I'm on 54 to be honest, I should be on higher than this, from what I remembered, but anyway. As you can see, I'm playing a lot with the gears. It's all with I'm just playing with the clutch kick. So whenever you're changing the gear and the clutch comes in, you're just giving that little kick on the car and rotating it around the corner. So I think that's very useful in the wet conditions, as I do it once again here from 4th to 5th. I just do it everywhere, to be honest. And I think that's why I'm very fast in the wets and just conditions like these, because I think one of my strong points is my gearing, even though it may sound stupid or just like, how can you be strong with gears? But I really feel like I'm always choosing the right gears and playing with them very well to get the most out of the car as I can. As we finished the first bankers and we're P5, and as you can see what I was talking about earlier, these one-shot qualies at the end, and we are all bunched up at the end to try and get the best track possible. It just gets so chaotic, man. It's so frustrating and nerve-wracking because, well, thankfully there's ghosting on because we've had incidents in league racing as well, for example, where stuff like this happens and people get damaged starting with each other. It's just confusing, but yeah, it is what it is. Thankfully there's ghosting on, so everyone is still able to put a lap on the board. You just need to make sure that you have a good space to the car in front, that you don't get too much dirty air. So yeah, turn 1 flat out this time, so it means the track is improving a lot. So I think we're going to do a big improvement on this lap. As we see, we hit good apex for turn 3, very well hit as well for turn 4, not too much wheel spin, good exit. Yeah, I'm just driving very cleanly at the moment. We are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, we're 7th on track, so realistically the people behind me we should be going a little bit quicker, but as long as we beat the 7 cars in front of me, then we should be through to Q3. So yeah, just gotta do a clean lap, and the track improvement will give me the lap time I need, as we are 3.5 tenths up now, coming into Cops. Downshifting to 6, but as you can see, the grip was way more than I expected, and I almost hit the grass, and if I hit the grass there, would have been game over. Yeah, I would have gone way too deep. And you see me playing with the gears once again. Yeah, I think it helped me quite a bit in those parts of the track. We are more than half a second up now. At this point I have no idea what kind of lap time I'm doing, because I have no idea how much people are improving, how much people are pushing, so I just have to keep going as fast as I can, to be honest. As again, playing with the gears in stow here as well. Short shift to 4th for the traction on the exit here, and we improve by almost 9 tenths of a second, and it puts us P2. So very good lap. Going down now, as I said, people will beat me from behind because the track is improving very, very quickly. Myself and Barry P5, P6. Good effort from both of us. Tom Manley P1. Very good lap. Yeah, that's all we need. Thomas Ronard, though, big championship contender, out in Q2. So that is huge for us, because, you know, also Kick is also very up there in the Constructor Championship. Thanks to Thomas mainly. He's been scoring so many points. I think at this point he's already on like 67 odd points or something. He's like 30 points clear, I think, of P2 or something, which is a crazy number to be ahead of after just 3 races in the championship. It just shows how so much stuff can happen, and it's never over until it's over, you know. But now we're in Q3. The track is still wet. It's still damp, as you can see. Turn 1, not flat at all. I was almost losing the car. Yeah, at this point, this lap is, you could say it's useless, because we're going to go much quicker at the end of the session. And yeah, this banker is purely, I'll give you the reason why, purely to just go, first of all, go back to the dry setup wings, so way lower downforce, get used to that again, but also to set a lap time and put it on the board in the case of somebody invalidating their last run in Q3. That would mean I keep a free position at the end. So it's never useless to put a lap time on the board, no matter what conditions or what position you're in. There's always a chance you gain a free place because of it. So that is why. And you see, now we're still sliding a bit all over the place, learning the grip again with a 5.0 split. I think that's more than 2.5 seconds off, I think. So shows how slow the track is still. But from what the engineers could see, the track, yeah, was improving, but not that quick. And we were unsure, as we go deep here again, we were unsure if the track would be dry, like fully dry at the end of the session. As we go P1 at the end of the first run. So perfect start. We are P2. Lucas was a bit behind. He started the lap a bit later than us. P2 after the banker, so that's a very good banker to have. And here again, as you can see, we're all at the end of the last sector. to try and get the best track possible. But as you can see there, I should have felt it, but yeah, the track was not ready. It was not fully dry, and the engineers told us that it would be, but that's what they could see from the data, but it clearly just wasn't. It was not fully dry at all. So I under-pushed the car too much from what I remember. I mean, Sector 1 looked fast, looked good, clean, but it was still, I think, more than a tenth off of most people's Sector 1. It just shows how much I didn't trust the car. I don't know. Anyway, 5-5 split, Sector 1, as we completely miss Brooklyn's apex, which gives us a really bad run around Luffield here. Yeah, at this point, it's like Q2. I don't know what people are doing or improving in terms of lap time, so we just have to push. I can't just be safe and guarantee a top 3, because there is no guarantee at this point. But yeah, coming on to the famous Maggots and Becketts. It was pretty good, yeah. Probably not the fastest, but 2.9 split. I think that's about like half a second off still. What we usually do, or even more. So the track, yeah, is not dry at all. And I need to just manage to finish the lap now. I need to finish this lap. I cannot make a mistake in the last corner, which I almost do, but I think I catch it quite well. And I have a little bit of a slide on the exit, which did cost me time, as we go P2 at the moment, which is not bad at all. Still P2 as people are crossing the line. I'm still P2. Jarno goes P1 and Lucas just about gets P3. So we qualified P4 and P6, but Jarno had a 3-place penalty for the Austria incident, that he left the rig or something. I don't remember exactly. So we're going to be starting P3 this race. Yeah, it's a good starting place for Silverstone. That's amazing. Thankfully, I'm in between the two MERCS, because if the two MERCS are 1 and 2 or close to each other, it would be impossible to overtake them, or very, very hard. And importantly, the Red Bulls are both behind us. So this is the perfect scenario. And as well, Thomas is out of Q2. So perfect scenario to gain so many points on our constructors' rivals. And that's exactly what we're going to look to do. I knew I was going to start softs. I mean, there's no other way. I'm P3. I need to secure a good result, and this is the safest strategy to do it in, basically. So yeah, as 5 red lights, Jarno deciding to split the strategy with Danny and starting on mediums. So I knew he was going to be a big threat at the end of the race. But for the first stint, I could just not really think about him, because it didn't really matter where he was. I just need to focus on my own race, focus on Isma, that he doesn't send one down the inside, which he does, but I knew I had the better exit. And just keep my place, to be honest. Lucas in P2, we know that he's a very aggressive driver. He will go for the moves. He will go for those dive bombs. So I just need to make sure I capitalize on that if he does do that on Danny Bersney. But yeah, so now the first few laps, it's all about assessing. You're not trying to, because you're not going to win the race in lap 1. Now you just settle down, get into a rhythm, see what kind of the others are doing, their pace, their top speed, how they're driving, and then just base your strategy on that as well. I can see straight away that Lucas is on higher wings than us, and on higher wings than Danny B. I can see that Danny B is on lower wings, and he's going to struggle a lot on the S's, which means we're going to be following him very, very closely, as you can see. Not even getting alongside on the straight. So yeah, there's going to be an interesting interaction during the whole race. But that means as well that if we do get past Danny, he's going to struggle to stay close out of the S's, and possibly not even be close enough to overtake on the straight. So already in my mind, I already knew here at this point that I have to pass Danny. And like, if there has to be someone behind me, I want it to be Danny, because he's a perfect defense for me. He's a perfect wall. He's too far out of the S's for me to pass me into Stowe, and he's too fast on the straight to be overtaken by cars behind, with both of them having DRS. So I knew he would be the perfect wall, and I will absolutely use him later on this race. As we now skip on to lap 8, so we've skipped 6 laps because nothing, and I mean nothing, happened, because it's just a DRS train. And once again, look how closely Lucas can follow Danny. And at this point, I just want to pass as well, to be honest. I think, I don't remember, but yeah, I'm using my ERS, so I think I want to pass him now. trying to force Lucas into an overtake. As I go, we make it 3 wide. I'm not sure why I did that. Oh, but I wanted to cause chaos, and I did. And that means that we both passed Danny. So now I'm in the perfect position. This is exactly where I wanted to be. And now we're lap 8, so soon, in the next few laps, the pit stop window will open. So I need to charge my ERS up, as we are now in lap 9. Charge my ERS and hopefully pass Lucas before the pit entry. Because, you know, I don't want to lose time. I want to gain as much time as I can, and this is the perfect way to do it. So at this point here, I'm like, okay, I'm P1. I have to pit. There is no other chance. Otherwise, next lap, well, people are going to pit now, undercut me. Next lap, I'll get overtaken by P2 behind me. And here, Lucas makes a huge mistake. I am not sure why he didn't pit with us. I'm not sure why he didn't follow. Because now, not only did he just destroy his race because he's going to be behind all these cars that pitted, so he's going to be net P6, he's also giving Jarno DRS and that soft tire pace, which helping Jarno so much, because as you can see, they now have a gap to Barry in P3. If Lucas did pit, Barry would be with Jarno and they would be going slower as well, so that would have been better for us and for Lucas himself. So I think he just made strategy mistake there from him, which cost him a lot of points, and as you can see later, will cost us points as well. Also, another reason why I wanted to pit lap 9 was because I saw Wilson pitted lap 8 to softs. I guess this is why Lucas wanted to go longer, because he knew Wilson did the strategy to just help Lucas out. Wilson was gonna back up the field, kind of like Austria and Jeddah style, block the field, and then Lucas would be let through with much fresher tires and get the free win. But as you can see, Wilson is not doing much. He's just following me. He's just sitting behind me. Not too sure why. Yeah, I don't know. Here he's actually lifting. As you can see now, he's going up 7 tenths, 7.5. Yeah, 8 tenths. Yeah, he's definitely trying to slow them down, but it's just not enough. Not as much as Ulas did in Austria, which was like 3 or 4 seconds in one sector. It was a lot. But yeah, I think Wilson just wants my DRS to defend and slow them down. But it's not enough, because the undercut, you gain so many seconds on the people that are doing the overcut. So he's still gonna be dropping all the way behind the whole train as Danny B gets past as well now. So his strategy is already out the window. It didn't work. As you see, Lucas coming out of the pits now. Yep, as I said, fully at the back of the train. Well, bar 1. So yeah, with 1 lap fresher tires, I don't see for him a way through, to be completely honest. But I'm sure Wilson will just let him by. As now we skip on to lap 14. We are still leading the pack. Danny B now will pass me, using a lot of ERS to defend from Isma. Barry is leading the train of the alternate strategy runners. Yeah, I think he pitted lap 13, which was the wrong call in my opinion. Oh, in hindsight, it was the wrong call. He should have gone a lap longer or 2, because Jarno went a lap longer. Or 2, I don't remember. And his strategy, as you can see, will work perfectly. Remember why? Because of Lucas also going longer and giving Jarno that gap to the train of Barry. So yeah, Jarno's strategy ended up perfectly because of that. And he will pit lap 15 to softs. So kind of like a Ismail strategy in Jeddah type of strategy he's going for. So he wants the soft, so he can make as many positions up as quickly as he possibly can. But Lucas actually somehow made himself up to P3. But you know what the difference is? He's P3 now, which is the best he can do at the moment. But he would be P2 or P1 with me if he pitted with me. So it would be me and Lucas swapping instead of me and Danny. And this has caused me to be in a Mercedes sandwich. Lap 19, Jarno is on 3 or not even 4 lap fresh, oh my god, English. Not even 4 lap old softs. And he's already behind me. So here, I just need to make sure I stay in between the MERCS. I can't let them be together. It's so important. This is gonna make or break my race, or the win possibly, if I can keep with Jarno for long enough until the last few laps where his tires will drop off quite considerably. But again, remember, Danny was very slow on the corners but very fast on the straight, so it's making it very difficult to stay behind. Jarno super close, and I think now Jarno will push to pass both me and Danny and try to stay in front together. As you can see, Jarno pushing, going to the inside, I'm going to the outside, and we are 3 wide in Brooklands. Danny lets us go because I think he doesn't want to risk any damage, and look at the minimum speed here. It's so slow. Both me and Jarno were lifting because we did not want to be leading. He wanted me to be P2, or P1, sorry, so that both him and Danny could pass me together on the back straight after Maggots and Beckett's, which would have been the smart play to do. But I knew that's what they wanted to do, so I kind of outplayed that scenario very well. So I'm proud of myself for that one. That was so crucial, because now, as you can see, Danny can't do anything. I mean, he can use his ERS, that's fine, but I can do mine as well. And we're just... I have to somehow stay P2 here as we go around the outside of Jarno once again, but let him go again. You see, it's just... It was very important. As you can see behind me, Lucas goes down the inside of Danny, but he just makes contact and he drops so many positions, and that's his race over, basically. I'm not sure whose fault that was. If Danny didn't leave enough room, if Lucas went a bit for a dive bomb, but as I said before, Lucas is prone to making these dive bombs like that. But yeah, it is what it is. We got Ismail behind Danny now. But yeah, now I feel comfortable now because, as I said earlier, Danny, perfect defense for me. He's too slow in corners, so he can't stay close. And we skipped up 25 now. Both me and Jarno have full ERS, which honestly, I don't know if I could have done much more, to be honest. His tires were way fresher and he was still faster than me by a couple tenths a lap, so it was going to be near impossible to beat him on a straight 1v1 fight. Because as you can see, look at the exit he got out of that corner. Absolutely crazy. I just couldn't stay close. I even had to downshift in turn 1 because how old and dead the tires were. Yeah. I'll try my best though. Use all the ERS as I can. You can see the gap, 6/10. It's just so big. Hopefully we can get close to him for the S's though. Maybe try something out of Chapel. But yeah, my trailing speed I think was not the greatest, but I think that's what also saved me on this long stint, and that's what made my pace good enough to stay in P2. So it's a trade, you know, it's a balance that you have to make before the race and decide. I think Jarno was on lower wings, purely to the fact that of his strategy. He can afford to. He's always on the better tire, so he can always go a bit lower wing than the other soft medium runners. As you can see now, the gap is 4/10, which is not too big, but he just gets a better exit, and he's just still pulling, he's pulling. He's flashing at this point, so I'm like, oh my god, I can maybe make it. But I did a mistake, and I deployed too much ERS too soon onto the lap, and I don't have enough ERS here. I mean, to be honest, even if I had more deployment, I don't think I would have gotten alongside. The Jarno would defend the inside, and it was just a very easy win for himself there. But I'm still happy with the P2. Defending from both Mercedes drivers was very, very crucial. They gain on us a lot in the constructors, but we gain a lot on Red Bull, so it was a successful race from my end. I don't know what happened to Barry. I think the strategy call was just not really good. We talked about it afterwards, and he did pit, I think, 1 or 2 laps too early, and it caused them to just be stuck behind Wilson, first of all, and also just without anyone to pull him along, you know, on the DRS train. So yeah, Jarno gets a full 26 points, because I think he also has the fastest lap out of the top 10, thanks to those softs, that alternative strategy. So very well driven by him. Not much I could have done, to be honest, but I will absolutely take the P2. Consistent results is what you need in this championship. As you can see, or as you saw in the last few races, have been very chaotic, and I'm sure you'll see the next ones will be too as well. So I'll see you guys in the next race, which will be Spa. Ciao, guys.